Tucked beneath the streets of Paris lies a station no commuter has seen in over 80 years. Croix-Rouge shut its doors in 1939, but according to whispers, it never really went silent. Some say you can still hear faint broadcasts. A Cold War relic? An urban myth? Or something far stranger? Let's dig in. It's 1939. Paris is tense. The Second World War looms just beyond the horizon, and the city's air is thick with uncertainty. As France prepares for the possibility of invasion, the Régie Autonome des Transports Parisiens, the body that runs the Paris metro, makes a quiet decision: close Croix-Rouge station. On the surface, the reason seems simple. The station sits just a short walk from the larger and more heavily used Saint-Germain-des-Prés. RATP cites redundancy and low passenger traffic. So they shut it down. Trains stop halting there. The signage is removed. Over time, it fades from maps. People stop asking about it. But unlike many other stations that closed during World War II, Croix-Rouge never reopened. The war ends. Paris rebuilds. Life floods back into the city's arteries, and the metro system grows, connecting new neighborhoods and adding modern upgrades. But Croix-Rouge is quietly left behind. There's no grand announcement, no demolition, just silence. The entrance is bricked over, the name disappears from the maps, and people move on. Other ghost stations have found second lives, used for training exercises, film sets, and even underground farms. But not this one. Croix-Rouge stays sealed, untouched, forgotten. Over the years, rumors filled the silence. That it was cursed, that something went wrong, that it wasn't just a budget cut, it was a cover-up. Today, most Parisians barely remember it. For many, it's just a name that their grandparents might have mentioned once. A half memory. Or maybe something they dreamed. Because if a place vanishes, but no one sees it go, did it ever exist at all? Then the stories begin. Maintenance workers down in the tunnels report hearing low mechanical hums, not from active stations, but from Croix-Rouge. Passengers passing through that stretch of tunnel report strange interference, radios cutting out, phones glitching. When urban explorers attempt to locate the platform, they're met with solid walls or blocked access. Officially, there's nothing left. So why do some still insist there's something transmitting from down there? Could it be Cold War-era radio equipment left running in secret? Could it be an old relay mistakenly reactivated? Or is it just an urban legend that refuses to die? A ghost story echoing through a steel and stone skeleton beneath Paris? If it were just another closed station, why has no one ever reopened it? And most chilling of all, what, if anything, is still operating down there? Decades pass. Croix-Rouge remains officially closed, forgotten by the city. But in the early 2000s, whispers resurface, this time online. In obscure radio forums, users begin sharing strange audio clips, static, low-frequency pulses, odd rhythmic beats, all recorded near Rue de Sèvres, just above where the old Croix-Rouge station once operated. Some claim these sounds resemble numbers stations, Cold War-era broadcasts used to transmit coded messages to spies. A voice reads out numbers in an eerie monotone, then cuts off. But there's a problem. There's no registered transmitter in the area. Curious amateur radio operators bring their equipment to the site. Some say they picked up the same pulse, a short, repeating frequency that doesn't match any commercial or government signal. One explorer claims it only activates at night. Another says it shifts slightly each week, like it's hiding from detection. Engineers try to trace the source. While inconclusive, a few believe the signal's origin is underground. Not from a tower, not from a rooftop, but from beneath the surface. Could it be leftover military tech from decades ago? A forgotten repeater station? Curiously, each time someone seems close to identifying the signal, it disappears, only to reappear days or weeks later. Some dismiss it as electrical noise, others insist it's deliberate. And one thing keeps popping up across accounts. No matter the equipment or expertise, no one has ever located the exact source. So, the question lingers. If the Paris Metro insists that Croix-Rouge is just a sealed, inactive station, then what exactly is still broadcasting from below? The strange signals keep surfacing from beneath Rue de Sèvres. A different theory takes hold, one rooted in Cold War paranoia. After World War II, Paris became a major hub for NATO and Western intelligence. France wasn't just recovering, it was preparing. Rumours began to circulate in retired military circles and fringe publications. What if Croix-Rouge was never truly abandoned? Some believe the station was quietly repurposed in the late 1940s, not for passengers, but for spies. A communications relay hub, a node in a secret underground network. Declassified NATO planning documents from the 1950s reveal discussions about using metro tunnels for emergency communications infrastructure, especially in the event of Soviet nuclear strikes. Maps drawn up for civil defense included repurposed stations like Croix-Rouge. Urban explorers have even claimed to find bricked-off side tunnels near Croix-Rouge, different from typical station closures. Some insist they lead to restricted zones once used by French intelligence. The repeating signal? Some speculate it's a decaying Cold War-era radio repeater that was never fully shut down, just left humming in the dark. Others go further. They suggest a connection to Operation Gladio, the CIA-backed stay-behind networks spread across Europe during the Cold War. These hidden operatives were trained to resist Soviet occupation, with caches of weapons, radio gear, and underground meeting points. Croix-Rouge, with its secretive shutdown and ideal location, fits the profile. But no official record confirms any of this. The French government has never commented on the signal. Former defense officials either deny knowledge or dodge questions entirely. Even FOIA requests hit a dead end, flagged as matters of national security. So, here we are. A station sealed for decades. A signal with no source. A silence from those who might know. If these rumours hold even a shred of truth, then Croix-Rouge wasn't just closed, it was reassigned. And the real question is, to what? Paris has a secret underground, beyond the metro, beyond the catacombs. And in that shadowy maze, one name always stirs curiosity: Croix-Rouge. Enter the cataphiles, Paris's underground explorers. These aren't just thrill seekers, they're map makers of the forbidden, squeezing through abandoned ventilation shafts and crawling beneath manholes, hunters of the city's buried past. In their circles, Croix-Rouge is myth and mission. Some say they've reached it through old maintenance hatches near Sèvres-Babylon station. The stories they return with are eerie. Rusted signage with flaking paint, power boxes still wired, one supposedly blinking a dull red, graffiti on a tunnel wall that reads only one word: voix, French for voice. Photos posted online show long, narrow corridors sealed with heavy metal gates, dust-coated switches, a platform that looks too intact to be truly abandoned. One explorer brought a Geiger counter. It beeped once before falling silent again. Some dismissed it as a battery glitch. Others weren't so sure. Then there's the tech issue. Multiple explorers report sudden phone interference near the site. Not just signal loss, but scrambled static, almost like audio distortion. Even more unsettling, one veteran explorer swears he heard footsteps behind him. Measured, echoing, and close. But when he turned around, no one was there. And yet, there's never been any formal confirmation. No blueprints, no access logs. The Paris Transport Authority simply lists Croix-Rouge as closed since 1939. Still, something keeps pulling people back. Because if no one's there and nothing is transmitting, then why are signals still being picked up? Could something beneath Paris still be active? Let's play skeptic for a moment, without killing the fun. Some electrical engineers believe there's a practical explanation. Abandoned metro lines like Croix-Rouge might still have aging communication cables running along their walls. And if those wires weren't properly disconnected, they could behave like antennas, accidentally picking up stray radio signals, especially in a dense city like Paris, full of electromagnetic noise. Then there's the strange case of numbers stations. These are real, still active today, and broadcast cryptic number sequences, often believed to be linked to espionage. Some theorists think the Croix-Rouge signal, if it exists, might just be a fragment from one of those broadcasts bouncing through the tunnels. Others offer a psychological angle. The human brain is wired to find meaning in randomness. It's called pareidolia, like hearing words in static or seeing faces in clouds. In a dark, echoing tunnel, surrounded by silence and shadows, it doesn't take much for the mind to fill in the blanks. There's also the possibility of a deliberate trick. Some believe the entire signal story could be the work of a guerrilla artist, someone who wired a hidden speaker or looping device to create a false signal just to mess with urban explorers. After all, Paris has a history of underground art collectives. In 2004, police discovered an entire secret cinema hidden beneath the city, complete with projectors and seating. Yet the authorities remain tight-lipped. The RATP, which runs the Paris Metro, has never released a formal statement about Croix-Rouge's alleged activity. And unlike some countries, France doesn't have a Freedom of Information Act that would allow citizens to demand records. So all we're left with are scattered reports, fuzzy recordings, and a lot of unanswered questions. And maybe that's what keeps the story alive. Because if it's just malfunctioning wires or an old prank, why won't they just say so? Croix-Rouge hasn't served a single passenger since 1939. Its platform is sealed off. The lights are gone. The name has vanished from official maps. And yet it lingers. Urban explorers say the tunnels beneath Paris breathe with a life of their own. Some swear they felt airshift near Croix-Rouge, as if something moved just beyond sight. Others report hearing faint echoes, too rhythmic to be random. Over the decades, subway workers have quietly hinted at strange readings from line sensors near the old station. Malfunctions, interference, nothing serious, but nothing explained either. Even construction crews working near the area have claimed their walkie-talkies suddenly crackle with static or loop the same sound repeatedly, like a shortwave caught in a glitch, and no one's allowed in officially. The RATP denies all of it. No maintenance, no transmissions, no public access. Yet somehow, the story keeps resurfacing. Could something still be powered down there? Or is the real mystery why this one closed station refuses to fade like the others? Paris has dozens of ghost stations. Some were closed for budget reasons, some rerouted, some forgotten. But Croix-Rouge? It's remembered. Not for what it once was, but for what it might still be. So, next time you ride the Paris Metro, especially near Saint-Germain-des-Prés, if a voice is speaking from the dark, do you want to know what it's saying? They say New York built the first skyscraper, but what if someone else reached for the sky centuries earlier, with no steel, no glass, and no blueprints? In our next story, we question everything we thought we knew about who really touched the clouds first. Don't miss it, and do subscribe to the channel.